I caught my fiancée lying. Do I bother trying to salvage what's left? I caught my 33M fiancée/girlfriend 32F of 9 years lying to me in a pretty significant way. To preface this, we were set to be married and I had a medical issue that caused us to postpone our wedding for several months. We fought about that and I put my foot down saying my health both short and long term was more important than a wedding. She screamed and yelled and cried and even got her mom involved, and before the end of that argument and day she told me to leave multiple times. I had enough of the way I was being treated and talked to, so I packed a suitcase and went to stay with my parents for just under 2 weeks, and they only live 15 minutes away. She begged me to return nearly every day while I was gone, but I didn't want to walk back into the same situation and same argument. When I finally did return home, I noticed changes in her behavior. She had exhibited these before, but not in the same magnitude. Always on her phone, quick to put it face down when I was around, quick to close out of specific apps like Snapchat. I didn't think much of it at first as we had a good trusting relationship for years and I never doubted her before. This type of behavior became more and more frequent and my suspicions started to grow. My overthinking got the best of me and I picked up her phone to look at the lock screen for notifications, and I did this on 2 or 3 occasions. Once when she was fresh out of the shower and another when she was constantly attached to her phone. I saw Snapchat notifications that someone with a male username had saved her Snap. The person's name was not of anyone she talked about or that I knew existed. My suspicions grew more as she would go out late claiming to be with her girlfriends at a specific bar/restaurant, but then wouldn't come home until late even though the place she said she was at closed 2 hours prior. Again, I tried not to be bothered by it as I was healing and out of work and trying to mend the relationship from the argument that caused all of this in the first place. I know I should have asked, but I didn't want to accuse her as I didn't have any hard evidence. I decided to collect evidence. I put an AirTag in her car without her knowledge. Tested for function and confirmed it was working properly. She told me she was going out with her girlfriend from work and I said okay and have fun. According to the AirTag, she was at a bar that she had never been to before to my knowledge and was not the type of bar she would typically go to, and it was definitely not a bar her friend would have suggested or gone to. She came home earlier than normal, so I let it slide. The next time she went to go see the same work friend, she was going to stay over at her house. Now, I know the friend and I've talked to her multiple times before, so I didn't think much of it. The AirTag wasn't working 100%, so I never got a good fix on position until the next morning when she was nearly an hour and a half east of where she claimed to be. When I asked her how things were with her girlfriend, she said fine and that they went to breakfast. It was a wild-faced lie. I knew she was never at that place. I bought a better tracker with active live feed and placed it in her car without her knowledge. She left to go see her girlfriend again and I had to stay home as I had a doctor's appointment I couldn't miss. The tracker picked up her car over an hour away and nowhere near where she said she'd be, and she was gone for over 5 to 6 hours for what originally was supposed to be a lunch. I even called her when it was getting late and she picked up and lied about where she was and who she was with. The friend she claimed she was with typically takes the time to say hi to me and ask how I'm doing when she's on the phone with my fiancé or when I call her and she's there. But she rushed me off the phone and within 10 to 15 minutes her car was on the move and it took her an hour to get home. Everything was starting to add up. Especially when she became defensive when I asked about what she was doing and such. I said to myself I'd give her one more chance. She did it again, claiming to go get dinner with the same. I waiting for her to take the wrong route on the GPS tracker. I grabbed my things and followed the tracker. I found her car in the same random parking lot as last time. Figuring she was picked up, I waited. She ended up posting a story on social media. Eventually I was able to ID the restaurant from Google and social media. I quick started over to the restaurant, but I got there too late and she was gone. Say what you want, I know it sounds psycho-stalker-ish, but I never once questioned her about where she goes or who she was with. I waited in the parking lot and sent her a text asking about when she would be home. Shortly after that a car pulled up next to hers and she got out. I took a photo and video and quick drive out of the lot and headed home. I beat her home by about 10 to 15 minutes. When she arrived I acted like nothing happened. She lied about where she was and what she was doing and who she was with as I asked the normal questions of how was dinner, how was her friend, and so on. She even tried to hide the bag that she took home her leftovers in, and I confirmed I had the correct restaurant from earlier. Next day I spent the day with her as if nothing happened, went with her to go get her nails done and everything. It was festering and eating away at me all day, so as we got ready for bed and laid down I asked her how long she had been lying to me and who was the guy she was seeing. She tried to deny everything until I told her exactly where she was the previous night and details down to the guy's car make, model, color. She continued to try and lie, and every time I caught her I'd tell her. Turns out the night she didn't come home she stayed at a hotel with this guy. She swears up and down nothing happened and he's just a friend. I feel like such an idiot for wanting to believe her and believe she remained sexually faithful. She didn't help herself at all by deleting every trace of evidence on her phone like calls and texts and such. So when she offered up her phone for me to go through, it wasn't even worth the effort. Part of me wants to fix this and try to mend things. Part of me wants to walk away from it altogether. Sorry for the long read, there's just so much, and I know I'm leaving stuff out like her hiding her phone calls when I'd come home unexpectedly and such. I just don't know what to do. I've never had to deal with a situation like this worth salvaging, or is this worth the investment of time? Is it just part of a sunk cost fallacy?